As I took off my armor, she watched. The Queen stopped cold at my battle wounds. Explosions ripped through the palace perimeter. Shrapnel pinged off Mara's armored suit as she clamped her gauntleted hand around Queen Sci-Fi Tell's slender wrist. Tunnel, now! The Queen's iridescent scales flared in protest. Her four-fingered grip twisted free for a split second. Sergeant Cade, release me. Protocol demands. Mara didn't release. She dragged the Queen sideways, boots pounding the marble floor slick with dust. A second barrage slammed home. The grand hall shuddered. Chunks of ceiling rained down, one grazing Mara's helmet with a screech of stone on alloy. They plunged into the service tunnel. Dim emergency strips flickered to life along the walls, casting long shadows over conduits and access panels. Mara shoved the Queen deeper, past sparking wires. The air hummed with failing power relays. Sci-Fi stumbled, her flowing robes tangling. This is undignified. My guards, dead or scattered. Mara scanned the tunnel mouth. No pursuit yet. She slammed the manual release on the blast door. It groaned open on hydraulics. Alarms wailed. The Queen's personal guard Vox crackled faintly from Sci-Fi's collar comm. Static swallowed Marshal Vorkesh's voice. Breach at Sector 3. Hold position. Power flickered out. The lights died. Mara cursed under her breath and yanked the crank handle free from its recess. She spun it hard, muscles burning from old scars across her back. The door's servos whined, then locked, with a final clunk. Sealed. Darkness pressed in. Mara's suit lamps snapped on, bathing the tunnel in harsh white. Sci-Fi Tell stood rigid, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the beams. Bioluminescent veins pulsed along her neck, faint blue in panic. Your power grid's fried. Mara knelt, popping her suit's utility pouch. She yanked the Queen's ornate comm unit from her collar. Delicate crystal lattice, alien tech far beyond human specs. Wires sparked. Mara stripped them with a multi-tool, splicing into her own suit radio. Mine's hardened, rerouting now. The Queen's mandibles clicked softly, her species tick for unease. Human engineering. Crude, but functional. Her gaze flicked to Mara's exposed forearm where armor plates shifted. Jagged scars crisscrossed the skin, pale against tanned muscle. Those marks? Battle trophies? Proof of your barbarism? Mara didn't flinch. She twisted the final splice. The comm hissed alive. Scars from work. Yours? Sci-Fi's scales dulled. Duty leaves no such disfigurement among the Tellar. Precision avoids savagery. Precision fails when enemies overload your grid. Mara tapped her helmet mic. Liaison Cadet to command. Queen secured in sub-level tunnel Alpha 7. Request immediate extraction. Hostiles breaching palace core. Envoy Lin Juno's voice cut through, sharp and human. Copy Cade. Drop ship ETA 12 minutes. Marshal Vorkesh is rallying outer defenses. Says your position holds the line. Hold tight. Mara glanced at the Queen. Sci-Fi's eyes widened at Juno's words. The alien monarch activated her rerouted comm. Marshal Vorkesh. Status. The commander's gravelly timbre boomed back, laced with Talar harmonics. My Queen. Enemy shock troops through the east wing. Human metrics confirm. 80% casualties on their vanguard. Sergeant Cade's earlier patrol data predicted the vector precisely. Sci-Fi straightened, robes settling. Then enact surrender protocols. Preserve lives. The treaty. No. Mara stood, checking her rifle's charge. Full mag. Surrender hands them the palace. Your treaty dies. The Queen's veins flared brighter. You presume to countermand me? I am Sci-Fi Tell, sovereign of the Tellar hives. Surrender saves my court. Mara met her gaze. Those multifaceted eyes held calculation, fear flickering beneath. Up close, the Queen's scent hit her, ozone and spice, sharp as a live wire. Your court's watching for barbarism. Fine, but humans don't fold on first blood. Extraction's 12 out. I plugged the breach. Buy time. Sci-Fi's hand shot out, 4 fingers gripping Mara's scarred forearm. Cool scales against warm skin. Insanity. You rush to death. Routine. Mara pried free gently, but Sci-Fi's touch lingered, a second too long. Heat bloomed where scales met scars. Mara ignored it, slinging her rifle. Doors sealed. Your precision tech will guide the dropship. The Queen's mandibles parted. Sergeant Mara was already moving. She punched the tunnel's side panel, overriding the inner seal with her suit key. It hissed open to a cross corridor choked with smoke. Distant gunfire cracked. Taylor pulse rifles, high and whining. Marshal Vorkesh's voice barked over open channel. Human liaison, report position. My unit's metric, your resilience at suboptimal. Heading to breach. Mara double-timed it, boots echoing. Flank from sublevels. Your drones spot the heavies? Affirmative. 3 Walker class at the Grand Atrium. Vorkesh paused. Metrics scrolled across Mara's HUD. Talar overlays syncing with her suit. Enemy heat blooms. Allied pings. Your patrol logs predicted this overload tactic. Humans endure differently. Endure and adapt. Mara shouldered through a buckled hatch. The corridor opened to a balcony overlooking the atrium. Below, chaos reigned. Teller guards in crystalline armor fell back, their precision volleys carving neat swaths through insectoid invaders, chittering horrors with plasma claws, breaching walls like termites on steroids. One Tellar crumpled, chitin plate shattered. Mara sighted her rifle. Crack. The invader's head exploded in green ichor. She fired again, dropping a second as it lunged. Saiviri's voice pierced her helmet. Private channel. Kade, withdraw. That is an order. Mara vaulted the balcony rail, dropping 10 meters to roll behind a toppled pillar. Rifle up. Negative, ma'am. See the walker? Your pulses bounce off. I get close. Plant charges. Invaders swarmed the pillar's shadow. Mara squeezed the trigger in controlled bursts. One down, thorax ventilated. Another leaped. She sidestepped, drove her boot into its underbelly. Crunch. Rifle butt caved its skull. Pain lanced her side. Old wound protesting the twist. She ignored it. Grenade out, cooked, lobbed. Boom. 3 more shredded. Vorkesh chimed in. Metrics updating. Human kill ratio exceeds projections by 200%. Queen, observe. Sergeant Cade advances without falter. Mara pushed forward, weaving through debris. The lead walker loomed. 8 legs, plasma cannon swiveling. She slapped a breaching charge on its leg joint, timer armed. Dive. Cannon fire scorched the floor where she'd stood. Heat singed her armor seals. She rolled, came up firing. The charge detonated. Leg buckled. The walker toppled, crushing its own swarm. Saiviri's breath hitched over comms. Impossible, your body. Scarred, yet unyielding. Routine, your majesty. Mara reloaded, scanning for the next target. 2 walkers left. Talar drones buzzed in from side vents. Vorkesh's precision strikes softening their armor. Collaboration clicked. A claw raked her pauldron. Mara spun, emptied half a mag into the invader. It spasmed. Fell. Fresh blood welled under her armor. Minor cut. She pressed on. Juno's voice. Dropship inbound. 6 minutes. Kadi, you're lighting up every sensor. Mara reached the second walker. Charge set. But the third pivoted, cannon glowing. No cover. Pulse fire stitched its flank. Talar guards closing. Guided by her position. Vorkesh. Human vector confirmed. Drones inbound. The walker staggered under combined fire. Mara detonated her charge. It collapsed in flames. Silence fell, broken by bootfalls. Saviri emerged from a side passage. Robes torn, flanked by 2 guards. Her eyes locked on Mara. Scales shimmered brighter, veins pulsing steady now. You refused surrender. Saviri stepped close, hand brushing Mara's bloodied pauldron, touch electric, and prevailed. Mara lowered her rifle. Team effort. Your metrics called the shots. The Queen's fingers traced a scar on Mara's neck, exposed in the fight. Not revulsion this time, wonder. Barbarism. Mara yanked off her helmet. Sweat-slicked hair plastered her forehead. The visor had fogged solid during the breach, blinding her to the last drone swarm. She slammed it onto the safe room's console. Cool air hit her face, carrying the tang of ozone from fried circuits. Queen Saiviri Tel stood 3 paces away, flanked by her 2 Tellar guards. Their scales gleamed under emergency strips. Veins pulsing faint blue. Vorkesh's voice crackled over comms. Perimeter secure. Drones report no hostiles in 5 clicks. Mara nodded, eyes on the blast door. Juno's dropship ETA ticked down. 4 minutes. Staff Sergeant. Saiviri's voice sliced the hum, precise, like her quartz data feeds. Your wounds. Attend them. Mara glanced down. Blood seeped through her pauldron's gash. A claw puncture from the walker. Minor. Patched en route, Your Majesty. Door first. She hefted her rifle, sweeping the room's vents. Alliance protocol. Human liaison. Guarded the Queen until extraction. No breaks. Sci-Fi stepped forward. Her robes hung in tatters, exposing iridescent scales along her arm. You bleed. Remove the plate. Mara's grip tightened. The Queen's court watched every feed. Proof of barbarism. They'd call her scars. But orders stood. She unclasped the pauldron. It clanged to the deck. Armor peeled away in sections. Chest plate next, then abdominal. Field tape hissed as she sealed the puncture. Clamps clicked tight. Fresh blood welled anyway, mixing with old suture lines across her ribs. Sci-Fi froze mid-step, her eyes locked on the scars. Jagged plasma burns from Vega Prime, shrapnel craters from the Orion Drift. Fresh stitches puckered red under the latest cut. Mara's torso lay bare, a roadmap of frontline routine. Your body, Sci-Fi whispered. Scales flared brighter. These are not decorations. They are invasion survived. Mara pressed a clamp harder. Sting flared. Standard wear, ma'am. Infantry gets 'em. She reached for her medkit. Pain blocker syringe gleamed sterile. No time for debate. The Queen closed a gap. Her hand shot out. Cool fingers traced a thick scar line across Mara's collarbone. Before Mara could twist away, contact burned colder than ice. Sci-Fi's touch lingered, scales whispering against puckered skin. How? Talar flesh rejects such trauma. We regenerate or perish. Mara held still. Heart thudded steady. We stack blocks. Pain blocker, sutures, synth skin. Back in the fight. She jabbed the needle into her thigh. Cool rush spread, agony dulled to buzz. Rifle up. She pivoted to the door. No sitting. No weakness on feed. Guards shifted. One hissed low. Court descent brewing. Vorkash cut in. Human metrics hold. Casualty ratio. 117 against swarm. Queen, extraction in 3. Sci-Fi withdrew her hand. Slowly, her gaze lingered on the scars, then lifted to Mara's eyes. Veins pulsed deeper blue. Steady, not the panic of before. Routine, you claim. Yet my commander verifies. Your endurance exceeds projections by 240%. Mara scanned the door's seals. Green lights held. Teen play. Your drones softened them. Verkesh vectored clean. Humble truth. Humans tanked hits. Teller precision carved kills. A tremor shook the deck. Alarms blared. Secondary breach. Juno's voice spiked. Kade! Enemy heavies punching through sublevels. Dropship delayed. 8 minutes. Mara spun. Hostiles inbound. Guards vents sealed. The Tellar duo nodded. Rifles humming charge. Sci-Fi drew a slender pistol. Queen trained, not ornamental. The treaty chamber is compromised. We, old, here. Clangs echoed from the corridor. Web claws scraped durasteel. Mara dropped to a knee, rifle braced. Flank left. Your Majesty? Console cover. The door buckled. A Teller-sized drone burst through. Mandibles whirring. Acid vents hissing. Mara fired first. Rounds punched its core. It spasmed but charged. Sci-Fi snapped 2 plasma bolts. Precise hits severed a leg. It toppled. Flawless sync. Vorkesh barked over comms. Drones retasking to your position. More claws tore in. 3 drones, armored thicker. Mara rolled, evading acid spray that pitted the deck. Her side burned, patch holding, barely. She emptied a mag into the lead drone's joints. It crumpled. A guard went down. Mandibles locked on his arm. Sci-Fi lunged, pistol blazing. The drone shredded. The guard slumped, scales dulling. Mara covered. Pressure! She slammed a fresh mag home. Rounds stitched the second drone. Sci-Fi's follow-up vaporized its vents. Last one lunged at the Queen. Mara tackled it midair. Impact jarred her ribs. Stitches tore. They hit the deck rolling. Mandible snapped inches from her face. She drove her knife into its eye stalk. Green ichor sprayed. Sci-Fi yanked her back. Pistol cooled against Mara's temple as the Queen fired point blank. Drone twitched dead. Silence rang. Mara pushed up. Blood soaked her side. Patch failed. She clamped it manual, ignoring the wet slide. Saiviri's hand gripped her arm, tight. You shielded me. Again. Routine. Mara reloaded. Door seals flickered red. More inbound. Juno. Dropship rerouting. 2 minutes. Hold! Vorkash. Human endurance data updated. Projections recalibrating. The Queen's fingers brushed Mara's fresh tear. Gentle now, tracing the blood. Not routine. Trust earned in blood. Her scales pressed closer, warmth bleeding through. Electric again, but steady. Intimate. Mara met her gaze. No words. Rifle up. Alarms peaked. Dropship roared overhead. Breach charges thumped outside. Door blew. Human Marines poured in. Juno at front. Cade, Queen secure? Mara waved them forward. Affirm. Perimeter yours. Saiviri stood tall. Hand lingered on Mara's shoulder. Protective now. The treaty signs. On human resilience. Marines formed up. Mara grabbed her helmet. Visor clear. Scars hidden again. But the Queen's touch burned memory deep. They moved out. Alliance forged tighter. Claws scraped distant halls. War waited. In the dropship bay, Saiviri pulled Mara aside. Guards averted eyes. Your scars. They mark survival, not barbarism. Her voice dropped. I misread. Allow me, a Marine shouted. Boarding. Heavy's closing. Saiviri clasped Mara's wrist, scales to skin. Together. Mara nodded. Rifle ready. Together. Dropship doors hissed shut. Thrusters ignited. Below, Vorkesh's drones swarmed the breach. Talar precision meeting human grit. Juno clapped Mara's back. Court feeds lit up. Queen's metrics shifted. Your scars sold it. Mara sealed her armor. Pain blocker faded. Ache returned. Routine. Just holding the line. Saiviri watched her, eyes soft. Fleet command loomed. Treaty ink waited. But in the holds dim, the Queen's hand found Mara's again. No cameras. Trust bloomed quiet. Enemy signatures spiked on screens. Vorkesh. New vector. Human teller strike. Mara grinned faint. Metrics say yes. Saiviri leaned in. Breath warm on scars. Prove them right. Rifles charged. Alliance unbreakable. Deck shuttered. Interceptors inbound. Mara braced. Saiviri's grip tightened. Love sparked in resilience. They fought on. Marshal Vorkesh's voice boomed across the palace training pit. Staff Sergeant Cade, live fire readiness check. Now. Mara dropped into a crouch. Dust swirled under her boots. The pit's walls loomed high, etched with Tellar kill marks. Courtiers lined the upper rims, scales glinting under dome lights. Queen Saiviri sat central, her throne elevated, eyes fixed like targeting arrays. Mara gripped the sparring blade. Heavy, balanced for Talar claws. Burkesh tossed plasma charges her way. Full sequence, no aids. She nodded once, charged. The first drone swarm launched from pit vents. Mara slashed low. Blade hummed through chitin. Drones exploded in blue arcs. She pivoted, ribs protesting from yesterday's patrol bruise. Pain spiked. Routine. Burkesh sparked metrics. 80% evasion. Push her. Sparring drone dropped from above. Mara met it mid-leap. Blades clashed. Teller alloy bit deep into her guard. Crack her rib gave. Fire lanced her side. She grunted, dropped the blade one-handed. Courtiers hissed. Barbaric. See the fractures? Mara ignored them, scooped a plasma charge, threw it into the drone's core. Bloom of fire. She grabbed the pit rifle. Taylor issue. Recoil like a mule kick. Aimed one-handed. Fired. Drones shredded. Live rounds punched clean through shields. Her arm burned from torque. Ribs ground. She cycled the bolt. Emptied the mag. Pit floor smoked. Silence fell. Vorkesh's console beeped approval. 97%. Human metrics hold. Mara straightened. Blood seeped under her tunic. Staining scars visible at the tier. Old burns. Shrapnel pocks. Frontline tallies. She walked to the rack, slotted the blade, turned to Vorkesh. Your casualty map, she said. Voice level. Front lines. Now. Vorkesh paused. His mandibles clicked. Courtiers murmured. She demands. After that display? Queen Saivi raised a claw. Silence crashed down. Granted, Vorkesh projected the hollow map. Red clusters pulsed. Tailor losses to enemy heavies. Mara traced lines with her good hand. Flank weak. Human dropships plug it. 80% hold. Vorkesh's eyes narrowed. Your ribs, routine. Mara tapped another node. Send drones here. We cover breach. Saiviri leaned forward. Her gaze locked on Mara's side. Scars gleamed wet with sweat and blood. Those marks. Proof of savagery? Mara met her eyes. No flinch. Proof we fight on. Courtiers surged. Majesty, dismiss her. Humans scar themselves for glory. Saviri silenced them with a gesture. Her voice cut precise. She completes drills fractured. One-handed. Metrics exceed ours. She rose, descended steps. Pit gravel crunched under her robes. Mara stood still. Queen's approach parted the air. Scent of ozone and spice. Saiviri halted close. Claws hovered near the tier. May I? Mara nodded. Saiviri traced a scar lightly. Scales cool on skin. Not barbarism. Endurance. Her eyes lifted, softened fraction. Join War Council, tonight. Vorkesh grunted assent. Map flickered off. Mara grabbed her tunic, pulled it straight. Pain throbbed steady. Walked out. Map data burned in her mind. Silence trailed her. Pit doors sealed. Mara hit the corridor at pace. Ribs screamed. She popped a field patch from her belt. Slapped it on, numbed the ache. Envoy Juno waited at the lift. Datapad glowing. You got it? Juno asked. Mara nodded. Casualty map. Flanks marked. Juno grinned. Courts buzzing. Queens overriding them. Vorkesh's feeds show your drill looping. Mara stepped in. Lift hummed upward. Routine check. Not to them. Juno tapped her pad. Saiviri's metric shifted. Scars sold it. Resilience, not rage. Council chamber doors parted. Talar aides scattered. Queen Saiviri already at head table. Hollow strat spinning. Vorkesh beside her, plotting vectors. Mara took assigned seat. Handed Juno the memorized chords. Relay to fleet. Saiviri glanced her way. Claw tapped table. Sergeant, your input. Mara stood. Pointed to red zones. Enemy pushes here. Humans hold with drones covering. Casualties drop 30%. Vorkesh cross-checked. Viable. Precision matches. Eyed hissed. She bleeds in pit. Saiviri cut him. She fights through. We integrate. Hours blurred. Plans locked. Mara sealed orders. Rib patch held. She caught Saiviri's gaze across table. Queen's mandibles flexed. Approval. Adjourned. Mara rose. Corridor again. Footsteps echoed. Saiviri matched her stride. You hide pain well, Saiviri said. Routine. Mara slowed. Keeps alliances tight. Saiviri touched her arm. Light. Mind tightens. Alarms blared. Palace shook. Vorkesh's voice over comms. Breach! Heavies inbound! Mara drew sidearm. Council to bays. Saiviri nodded. Claws extended. Natural blades. They ran. Dropship bay swarmed. Marines formed ranks. Juno waved Mara over. Queen's detail yours. Mara grabbed rifle. Slotted mag. On me. Saiviri fell in beside. Guards flanked. You lead. Explosions rocked halls. Enemy drones pierced outer shields. Mara kicked a side door. Fired first burst. Drones popped. Tellar guards lashed claws. Precise kills. Mara covered blind spots. Rib tugged. Ignored. Breach sealed. Dropship thrummed alive. Vorkesh boarded last. Metrics green. Human grit holds. Saiviri sat by Mara. Strap clicked. Her hand brushed Mara's. Council proven. Mara checked visor. Scars hidden. Wars just starting. Dropship launched. G-forces pinned. Enemy signatures spiked. Mara braced. Saiviri's grip found hers. Scales to callus. Fleet command loomed. Treaty waited. But in the bay's red glow, trust solidified. Mara squeezed back. Routine resilience. Shared now. Vorkesh plotted from console. New vector? Strike force? Mara grinned faint. Ours. Saiviri leaned close, breath on helmet seal. Together, rifles charged. Deck shuddered. Alliance fired hot. Enemy interceptors closed fast. Mara unstrapped partial. Aimed through port, plasma lanced out. One down. Talar gunners synced. Drones swarmed from bays. Vorkesh called targets. Flank metrics. Human lead. Saviri drew her regal blade. Extended. Slashed a boarding drone that breached inner hatch. Chitin sprayed. Mara covered her. Burst fire. Clear. Queen spun. Eyes locked. Your scars guide true. Juno patched fleet. Treaty cords locked. Hold line. Impacts rattled. Mara patched a hull breach. Foam sealed. Saviri pressed beside. Claws sealing seams. Pain flared. Rib shifted. Mara grunted. Continued. Vorkesh noted. Casualties 0. Resilience metrics peak. Dropship broke Atmo. Enemy peeled off. Fleet loomed massive. Taylor carriers meshed with human cruisers. Docking clamped. Doors hissed. Admirals waited. Juno forward. Sergeant Cade's map saved flanks. Saviri stepped out first. Mara at her side. Courtiers, remote feeds. Watched silent. Queen turned. Voice firm. The treaty signs. On human resilience. Marines formed up. Mara grabbed helmet. Visor clear. But Queen's touch lingered. They moved. Alliance forged. In dropship bay echo. Claws scraped halls. War waited. Saviri pulled Mara aside. Guards averted eyes. Your scars mark survival. Not barbarism. Voice dropped. I misread. Allow me, Marine shouted. Boarding. Heavy's closing. Saviri clasped Mara's wrist. Together. Mara nodded. Rifle ready. Together. Doors shut. Thrusters ignited. The low Vorkesh's drones swarmed breach. Juno clapped Mara's back. Mara swiped the guard roster across her wrist pad. Red flags blinked on 2 names. Sentry Krell and Sentry Voth, compromised. Intel from Juno's decrypts confirmed it. Enemy bribes traced to their accounts. She keyed the alert. Marshal Vorkesh, audit complete. Remove Krell and Vath from rotation. Immediate. Vorkesh's voice crackled back. Hologram flickered in the dim command alcove. Metrics justify, evidence chain, payment logs, cross-referenced with drone breach patterns. Mara forwarded the files. No debate. Action now. Footsteps echoed down the corridor. Claws clicked on deck plating. Queen Saviri emerged from the shadows, her iridescent scales catching the emergency strips. 4 guards flanked her, blades drawn. Her eyes, golden slits, fixed on Mara. Staff Sergeant Cade. Saviri's voice sliced precise. You alter my guard without consult? Mara straightened, rifle slung low. Compromised assets threaten you, Your Majesty. Removed for Alliance integrity. Saviri stepped closer. Her entourage tensed. Names. Now, Krell and Vath. Bribed by enemy infiltrators. Mara held the pad out. Data glowed. Saviri scanned it. Claws retracted slightly. You presume much. Humans meddle. My court whispers. Your scars prove barbarism. Weak alliances breed betrayal. Mara met her gaze. No flinch. Rib from the dropship breach still throbbed under her vest. Routine. Scars keep me operational. Check the logs. Your safety metrics rise 27% under my watch. The Queen's tail flicked. Irritation. Proof of barbarism. You fight wounded. Bleed through pain. My people heal pristine or perish. Conflict boiled. Goal, secure trust. Outcome, hung on demonstration. Mara unslung her pack. Zipped the med kit open. Truth here. She peeled back her vest. Exposed the fresh gash along her ribs. Drone shrapnel, sealed hasty with foam. Bruise bloomed purple. Saviri recoiled. Guards hissed. Barbaric, you conceal this? Standard field care. Mara pulled antiseptic strips, sprayed the wound, hiss of foam-bonded skin. She taped a pressure pad, flexed. No limp. Pain blockers optional. Adrenaline handles it. Back to duty in 2 minutes. The Queen leaned in. Claws hovered, not touching. No nanites? No regen weave? Basic kit. Humans adapt. Mara sealed the vest. Stood full height. Your guards heal slow. We endure. Alliance needs both. Vorkesh's hologram nodded. Metrics confirm. Human resilience. 40% uptime post-injury. Teller average 12%. Saiviri straightened, eyes narrowed, fought. You stay operational, not heroics. Routine. Mara shouldered the pack, keeps coalitions alive. Silence stretched, courtiers' remote feeds buzzed faint. Watching. Lead guard. My private suite. Tonight.
Saiviri's order snapped. No debate.
Prove it holds. Mara nodded. Yes, ma'am. Guards parted. Queen swept past. Mara followed. Corridor lights dimmed to night cycle. Suite doors irised open. Opulent chamber, crystal walls pulsed soft. Bed alcove draped in silks. No windows. Warhull. Saiviri dismissed her entourage. Doors sealed. Alone. Mara swept the room. Scanners active. Clear. Queen shed her outer robe. Scales gleamed under low glow. She paced. Court doubts. They see your scars, fear savagery. Mara posted at the inner door. Rifle ready. Actions build trust, not words. Saiviri stopped. Turned. Show me more. How you endure. Mara paused. Protocol tight. But order stood. She unzipped the kit again. Laid tools out. Sutures. Clamps. Stim pens. Daily maintenance. Shrapnel pulls. Infections burn. We patch. Fight on. Queen approached. Fingertip. Claw retracted. Traced the kit edge. Fragile flesh. No armor bond. Adaptable. Mara picked a stim pen. Jabbed her thigh demo. Energy surged. Boosts endurance 200%. Crash later. Worth it. Saiviri's breath caught. Close now. Heat radiated from her scales. You invite death casual. Survival metric. Mara capped the pen. Stored it. Alarm blared. Red strobes. Intruder alert. Deck breach. Mara spun. Rifle up. Positions. Saiviri drew her blade. Glow ignited. My suite secure. Scanners clear. But blast rocked the hull. Vibrations hummed. Verkesh Kamed. Enemy borders. 2 decks down. Drones inbound. Juno patched in. Mara. Hold the Queen. Treaty signing in 4 hours. No risks. Mara grabbed Saiviri's arm, pulled her to cover behind crystal console. Stay low. I cover. Queen resisted. Blade ready? I fight. Together. Mara synced her visor. Targets popped. 3 drones breaching outer hull. Doors buckled. Chitin claws scraped. Mara fired. Burst shredded lead drone. Sparks flew. Saiviri slashed. Regal blade cleaved second. Icar sprayed. Stuck to her scales. 3rd drone lunged. Mara tackled it midair. Pinned. Knife jammed circuits. It whirred dead. Silence. Smoke cleared. Saiviri rose. Blade dripped. Eyes on Mara. Wounded again. Rib screamed. Fresh cut on arm oozed. Mara pressed kit patch. Sealed. Operational. Queen's claw touched the patch. Gentle. Routine. Mara nodded. Breath steady. Vorkesh reported. Breach contained. Casualties minimal. Human led. Breach seal time 45 seconds. Juno. Good work. Fleet holding. Saiviri sheathed her blade. Stepped closer. Court sees now. Remote feeds captured. Mara checked scanners. Clear. Alliance holds. Not just alliance. Queen's voice softened. Claw lingered on Mara's arm. Traced scar line. You. Heat. Built. Intimate. Mara. Held still. Trust earned. Door chime. Guards outside. Majesty. Secure. Saiviri called. Enter. Sergeant Remains led. Guards filed in, eyes wide at ichor stains. Mara reloaded, posted anew. Dawn cycle lights rose. Treaty hour neared. But whispers spread. Court feeds viral. Human resilience shifted metrics. Saiviri retired to alcove, gestured Mara near. Rest here. Watch. Mara perched on edge stool, eyes open. Kit handy. Queen's tail brushed her boot. Accidental? No. Hours ticked. No breaches. Verkesh Kamed update. Guard roster purged. New metrics. Loyalty 98%. Human audit credited. Juno. Signing prep. Queen, your words? Saiviri rose. Claws groomed. Human way integrates. Mara stood. Vest tight over patches. Corridor marched to signing hall. Courtiers lined. physical and hollow. Murmurs hushed. Queen entered, Mara at flank. Rifle slung. Admirals bowed. Juno forward. Treaty ready. Sci-Fi signed. Stylus flashed. On resilience shared. Cheers erupted. Alien and human, but Mara spotted flicker. Hollow feed anomaly. Enemy SIG? She keyed private channel. Vorkesh. Scan hall perimeters. Affirm. Anomalous? Queen noticed. Claws tensed. Leaned to Mara. Again? Mara nodded. Hand on rifle. Routine. Explosions rocked outer bays. Assault wave! Multiple vectors, Vorkesh barked. Defensive grid up, Juno yelled. Protect the signatories. Sci-Fi drew blade, pressed against Mara. Sweet protocol. Here. Mara covered. Burst fire down sight. Drone swarmed entry. Alliance tested anew. Claws and rifle synced. Trust sealed in fire. Pain flared. Old rib cracked under strain. Mara grunted. Patched mid-fight. Continued. Sci-Fi slashed beside. Your way. Together. War demanded. Hall doors sealed. Breaches contained. Metrics peaked. Queen clasped Mara's wrist post-fight. Pulled close. Voice low amid cheers. Stay, beyond duty. Mara's pulse jumped. Scars bared. Accepted. Juno clapped back. Saved it again. Vorkesh nodded. Resilience Mara clamped the assassin's wrist mid-draw. Bone cracked like dry twig. The pistol tumbled from numb fingers. Unfired. The alien thug snarled, mandibles flaring. Mara twisted harder, slamming him into the sweet threshold bulkhead. Her rifle butt cracked his temple. He slumped. Pain ignited her side. A second assassin lunged from the shadowed alcove, vibroblade whipping across her abdomen. The edge bit deep, parting vest and skin in a clean arc, blood welled hot, soaking her shirt. Mara didn't stagger. She locked her stance. Boots planted. Her free hand yanked the sidearm from her thigh holster. 2 rounds punched through the assassin's chest plate. He jerked back, blade clattering, then crumpled. Queen Sci-Fi Tell froze 2 paces behind, claws extended toward the inner door panel. Her iridescent scales paled under corridor strobes. Inner door. Now, Mara barked. Blood trickled down her abs, but her voice stayed level. Seal it. Jam the lock with your blade hilt. Sci-Fi moved. Precise. Her claws danced over the panel, hiss of hydraulics. The inner door irised shut. She wedged her ornate blade into the seam, twisting until servos whined in protest. Mara thumbed her radio. Vorkesh. Sweet threshold breached. 2 down. Sweep team now. Hostiles inbound. Affirm. Vorkesh growled over comms. ETA. 2 minutes. Hold. Mara's vision blurred at edges. She braced against the frame. Abdomen screamed. Muscle parted. Ribs grinding. Old scars stretched taut beneath the fresh gash. Puckered lines from a dozen forgotten skirmishes. Only then did she slide down the wall. Knees buckled. She slumped behind the threshold cover. Rifle across lap. Blood pooled under her. Sci-Fi crouched beside her, claws hovering. Human. You bleed. Routine. Mara rasped. She pressed a field patch to the wound. Nanites hissed, sealing edges. Pain dulled to throb. Stay low. Footfalls echoed outside. Drones whirred. Vorkesh's voice boomed. Clear left breach team, stack up. Laser fire spat. Alien shouts cut short. Bodies thudded. Sci-Fi leaned closer. Her breath feathered Mara's neck, cool and spiced. Claws brushed the torn vest aside. Exposed, the new slash, flanked by faded burns, shrapnel craters, plasma welts, a map of endless fronts. Your scars, Sci-Fi whispered. Mandibles trembled. Court whispers barbarism. Primitives who scar themselves in rage. Mara met her gaze. Golden eyes widened. Battle markers, each one a shift I walked through, kept going. Sci-Fi traced a claw along an old knife line, featherlight. No flinch from Mara. You took the blade. Stood, covered me. Routine, job. Mara's pulse quickened under the touch. Heat built despite the blood loss. Explosions rocked the outer bays again. Hull groaned. Vorkesh burst through. Armored sweep team fanning out. Clear. Walls, too. Third hostile, ventilated in vent shaft. Juno skidded in behind, datapad glowing. Status? Treaty holds? Barely. Assault vectors multiplying. Mara pushed up. Sci-Fi's claw steadied her shoulder. Grip firm, loyal. Patch holding. Vorkash eyed the bodies, then Mara's gut. Scanned with wrist unit. Wound depth, critical for your tissue density. Yet metric stable. Heart rate nominal. Human standard, Mara said. She slung rifle, ignored the pull. Sci-Fi rose with her. Claws lingered on Mara's arm. They test us. Again, always, Mara scanned the suite. Plush alien furnishings shattered from stray rounds. Hollow screens flickered war feeds. Enemy swarms breaching outer docks. Juno tapped furiously. Fleet repositions. We need you too visible. Rally the coalition. Vorkash grunted approval. Resilience data updated. Human audit verified. Sci-Fi sheathed her blade, pulled Mara toward the inner chamber. Regroup here. My med unit. Mara followed. Suite's core hummed. Queen's private sanctum. Biolume walls pulsed soft blue. Central dais held a regen pod, tendrils dangling. Sci-Fi guided Mara onto it. Lie. Protocol demands. Mara complied. Tendrils snaked over her torso, probing the gash. Sealant oozed, cool against fire. Sci-Fi knelt close, monitoring the display. Her tail coiled around Mara's calf. Unconscious anchor. You shield without pause, Sci-Fi said, voice low. For Mara alone. My court sees savagery in your marks. I saw weakness. Now, truth. Mara caught her claw. Squeezed. Scales smooth, unyielding. We break. Patch. Fight on. Sci-Fi's mandibles brushed Mara's knuckles. A shiver ran through her frame. My people mend flawless. Yours endure flawed. Beautiful. Heat flushed Mara's cheeks. She tugged Sci-Fi closer. Faces inches apart. Queen's breath hitched. Claws flexed on Mara's thigh. Alarms blared. Vorkash Kamed. Perimeter holding, but Queen's shuttle prepped. Evac window closing. Juno poked head in. Signing hall secure. Coalition cheers your stand, but enemy corvette inbound. We fight or flee. Sci-Fi straightened. Duty snapped back. Bite. She helped Mara up. Tendrils retracted. Wound knit to pink line. Mara tested it. Flexed. Solid. Grabbed rifle. Flank me. They moved as unit. Sci-Fi's blade gleamed. Mara's rifle hummed charge. Corridor swarmed reinforcements. Vorkash directed fire. Drones shredded borders. Human marines linked with alien lancers. Bursts and plasma synced. An enemy squad breached side hatch. Mandibled raiders, armored thick. They charged the sweet run. Mara dropped two. Sci-Fi vaulted, claws rending throat armor. Blood sprayed. She spun, blade impaling the third. Precision yours, Mara called. Covered her angle. Endurance yours, Sci-Fi shot back, grinned, fierce, toothy. Vorkash barreled through. Push them back! Metrics peaking alliance fire rate triple baseline, Juno relayed. Fleet counterstrike live, hold 5. Mara took grazing plasma to shoulder, armor charred. She returned quad burst. Raider exploded. Sci-Fi yanked her behind pillar. Not alone. Their eyes locked amid chaos. Sci-Fi's claw cupped Mara's jaw. Lips met mandibles. Soft press. Electric. Mara leaned in. Tasted alien nectar. Felt claws tangle hair. Explosions faded. Enemy retreat klaxons wailed. They broke apart, breathing hard. Vorkash clapped Mara's back. Data doesn't lie. Welcome, Sergeant. Juno grinned. Treaty ironclad now. Your resilience sold it. Sci-Fi kept hold of Mara's hand, led her back to suite. Door sealed, alone. You stay, she murmured. Claws traced fresh scar. Beyond duty, beyond war. Mara nodded, pulled her down to dais. Bodies pressed, scars bared fully. Accepted, explored. Tendrils dimmed, walls pulsed intimate glow. Hull shuddered. Final enemy volleys. But inside, alliance forged deeper. Claws and calluses intertwined. Comms crackled. Vorkash. All clear, but scouts report main fleet massing. Next wave dawn. Mara tensed. Sci-Fi stilled her. Together. Dawn loomed. War endless. But trust, love, solidified in blood and fire. Mara smiled into golden eyes. Routine just got personal. Enemy signatures spiked on perimeter scan. Bigger this time. Mara's eyes snapped open to sterile hum and acrid medgel stink. Restraints bit her wrists. A medic's claw hovered with a sedative hypo. No. She yanked free, shoulder screaming fire. Plasma scar wept fluid through bandages. Human vitals critical. Rest cycle mandatory. The medic's mandibles clicked alarm. Mara swung legs off the cot. Boots hit deck. Guard rotation starts now. Dawn wave hit hard. I'm up. Alarms blared outside. Perimeter scans spiked again. Bigger signatures. Vorkesh's voice barked over comms. Liaison Kade, report. Infirmary, on my way. Mara stood, world tilted. She gripped the frame, ignored the medic's protests. Door hissed. Queen Sci-Fi Tel glided in alone. Golden eyes locked on Mara. Her iridescent scales gleamed under lumen strips. Court robes swirled, no entourage. Out. Sci-Fi commanded the medics. Voice like tempered crystal. They scattered without question. Mara straightened, saluted crisp. Pain throbbed, but she held stance. Queen's gaze traced the fresh char marks on her armor, half melted from the raid. You refuse aid. Sci-Fi stepped closer, claws flexed. Why? Metrics show 40% tissue loss. Humans break under less. Mara met those eyes. No flinch. Training. Necessity. Pain's just data. Ignore it. Adapt. Fight on. Sedation drops reaction time. Can't risk that with your fleet massing. Sci-Fi circled her, inspected the shoulder wound up close. A claw ghosted the edge. No touch. Barbarism. My court whispers it. Scars like yours mark berserkers in our histories. You charge plasma storms. Endure without cry. Is this human norm? Routine. Mara kept voice level. Frontline vets log thousands of hours under fire. Adrenaline baselines high. We patch, rotate, repeat. Not heroics. Survival math. Sci-Fi stilled, mandibles parted slight. Math. Not glory. She reached into her robe, produced a slim crystal vial, pulsing blue light within. Royal bond token. Worn by my sworn. Grants command access. Life debt. Mara's pulse kicked. Token meant more. Intimate ties in their culture. Whispers from briefings. Queens bound mates this way. Protective. Eternal. Choose. Sci-Fi pressed it into Mara's palm, cool against fevered skin. Service under me, full liaison. Or leave coalition. My court demands proof you're no savage. Door rattled. Juno's voice filtered. Majesty? Vorkesh needs status. Sci-Fi waved it silent. Locked eyes with Mara. Private. No bodyguard hears this. Mara clenched the token. Heat spread from it. Biolink sinking already. Queen's scent enveloped her. Nectar sharp. Electric. Echo of their kiss amid explosions. Service. Mara clipped it to her collar. Glow synced to her pulse. But not under. Decide. We hold dawn together. Sci-Fi's claw cupped Mara's jaw. Gentle this time. Thumbs traced lips. Decide. Mandibles brushed skin. Soft. War tests all. Prove routine endures. Alarms escalated. Hull shuddered. Enemy probes testing shields. Mara grabbed her rifle from the rack. Slid magazine hung. Rotation now. Your lead, Sci-Fi nodded. Claws linked Mara's briefly. Pulled her toward the fray. They burst into command nexus. Vorkesh pivoted. Metrics hollow flickering red. Sergeant, vitals suboptimal. Optimal enough. Mara slotted into fire team grid. Token pulsed approval. Unlocked Queen's private channels. Juno exhaled relief. Treaty holds if we survive this. Fleet inbound, but probes are vanguard. Sci-Fi mounted dais, voice amplified. Defensive weave. Humans anchor flanks. Enemy breached outer hull. Breaches vented Admo. Raiders swarmed. Chittering horrors with plasma lances. Mara dropped first shooter. Quad burst center mass. Raider crumpled. Sci-Fi unleashed from high perch. Precision tendrils lashed, disrupted shields froze limbs. Alien grace, surgical. Raider grazed Mara's leg. Armor split. She staggered, fired back. Down. Pain blurred vision. Token warmed. Sayaviri's bio-boost flooding veins. Clarity snapped back. Flank pinned, Vorkesh roared. Human metrics off charts again. Not metrics. Mara covered Sayaviri as she advanced. Teamwork. Queen's tendrils coiled a raider. Snap neck, turned to Mara. Eyes fierce. Endure. They pushed corridor by corridor. Mara's shoulder wept blood. Leg burned. She logged hits, 12 confirmed. Sayaviri took a lance, skimmed to flank, kissed. Scales charred. Mara yanked her down. Cover. Quad burst cleared path. Queen rose, claws gripped Mara's arm. You shield me, Job. Mara grinned through grit. Routine, breach sealed. Last raider twitched. Vorkesh clapped readouts, probes repelled. Main fleet delayed. Juno patched fleet. Counterstrike green. Hold pattern. Nexus quieted. Medics inbound. Sayaviri pulled Mara aside. Into shadowed alcove. Door sealed. Token binds. Her voice dropped. Claws traced Mara's scars. But I offer more. Beyond duty. Mara's breath caught. Queen's body pressed close. Scales warm, yielding. Mandibles grazed neck. War endless. Sayaviri murmured. Stay. Mine, not soldier. Mate. Token flared hot. Biolink deepened, emotions bleeding through. Queen's fear. Longing. Trust forged in fire. Mara cupped her face. Pulled into kiss. Lips met mandibles. Nectar tasted victory. Claws tangled hair. Bodies aligned. Scars to scales. Hull groaned. Distant booms. They broke apart. Eyes locked. Main fleet signatures spiking. Vorkesh Kamed. Impact in 10. Sayaviri straightened robes. Claws lingered on Mara's waist. Together. Mara nodded. Rifle up. Routine, but Token pulsed. Personal now. Love amid war. They charged back. Nexus lit with fresh hollow threats. Bigger wave. Dawn broke bloody. Mara anchored left flank. Sayaviri wove tendrils from center. Vorkesh hammered metrics. Raiders poured. Mara took hit to chest plate. Cracked. Fired through pain. Sayaviri's tendril yanked her clear. Not alone. Mara returned fire. Cleared nest. Never. Juno relayed. Allies sinking. Human resilience baseline now in Sims. Court feeds watched. Whispers shifted. Enemy breached inner bulkhead. Claws versus plasma. Mara's mag ran dry. Reloaded one-handed. Shoulder numb. Sayaviri downed 3. Flank exposed. Mara covered. Lance burned arm. She dropped. Burst up. Raider exploded. Queen dragged her behind barricade. Claws pressed wound. Why endure? Mara gasped. You. Us. Eyes met. Golden fire. Vorkesh's barrage turned tide. Fleet strike hit. Enemy hulls bloomed fire. Hull stabilized. All clear. Medics swarmed. Mara waved them. Token healed enough. Sayaviri held her hand. Court entered. Gazes on Token glow. Proof. Sayaviri declared. Human routine saves us. Vorkesh nodded.
Metrics confirm.
Juno grinned. Treaty expands. But private channel pinged. Sayaviri only. Dias tonight. Beyond war. Mara smiled. Pain faded. Bond sealed. Enemy scouts pinged horizon. Endless. She stood. Ready. Routine got intimate. War just started. Scouts massed. Next wave imminent. Token warmed. Queen's whisper. Beside her queen. Resilience routine. Love extraordinary. Word count 1427. Explosions rocked the treaty hall. Shrapnel pinged off Mara's chest plate. She gripped Queen Sayaviri's arm tighter and shoved her forward. Down the aisle. Keep moving. Sayaviri stumbled but matched pace. Her golden tendrils flared, scanning the rafters. Insurgent fire stitched the vaulted ceiling. Alien courtiers screamed and scattered. Mara swept her plasma rifle left, dropped a cloaked drone mid-drop. Sparks rained. Flank secure. Vorkesh, your heavies on the grid breach. Marshal Vorkesh's voice crackled over comms. Metrics, locked. Breaching now. Human, hold the dais. Mara kicked open the access panel, dragged Saiviri inside. The Queen's claws dug into her vambrace. Trust, not fear. "Insurgents jam the capital grid," Saiviri hissed, her multifaceted eyes locked on Mara. "Relay must die." Mara nodded, slapped a fresh mag home. "We sign first, then we hunt." They burst onto the dais platform. Holoscreens flickered under EMP bursts. Envoy Lin Juno huddled behind the treaty pedestal, fingers flying over pads. "Queen! Sergeant, here. Sign now, or we lose the fleet link." Saiviri straightened. Her robes billowed as she extended a tendril to the scanner. Red lights pulsed across the hall. Another blast shook the foundations. Courtiers peeked from cover, feeds live-streaming every scar on Mara's armor. The tendril pulsed green. Treaty locked. Saiviri turned to the hall. Her voice boomed, amplified. "The Alliance binds us. Humans stand with the Tel Dominion." Mara scanned perimeters. Raider shadows darted at the edges. "And this human," Saiviri continued, placing a claw on Mara's shoulder, "Staff Sergeant Mara Kade, my shield. My envoy to your worlds." Gasps rippled. A courtier hissed. "Barbaric scars mar her. Proof of savagery." Mara ignored it, raised her rifle. "Queen, inbound. 6 hostiles." Balcony left. Saiviri yanked her close. "With me." Juno grinned through the chaos. Metrics love this drama. "Vorkesh, squad up." Vorkesh lumbered in, his squad of armored Tel warriors trailing. "Human tactics, Cade." Relay cords locked. Led. Mara vaulted the dais railing. Hit the deck rolling. Breach and clear. Stun grenades first. Human drop. Follow my mark. They charged the hall's rear bulkhead. Raider fire chewed stone. Mara lobbed the first grenade. Flashbang cracked. Ears rang. She breached low, rifle barking. 2 down. "Stack right," she barked. Vorkesh's warriors poured plasma volleys. Precise, metric-guided bursts. A Tel grunted as claws raked his plate. Mara spun, emptied her mag into the attacker. "Regroup." Saiviri flanked from shadows, tendrils lashing. She impaled a raider mid-leap, pulled Mara behind her. Endure. Mara reloaded one-handed. Arm throbbed from earlier lance burn. Routine ache, always. They punched through service tunnels. Grid conduits hummed. Relay node glowed ahead. Insurgent tech pulsing red. "Charges?" Vorkesh rumbled. Mara shook her head. "Human breach. Overloaded." She yanked a plasma cell from her harness, jammed it into the node's intake. "Cover!" Warriors fanned out. Raiders swarmed the tunnel mouth. Saiviri's tendrils whipped, crushing exoskeletons. Vorkesh's barrage pinned them. Mara hit the trigger. Node whined. Exploded in blue fire. Grid lights snapped back on. "Relay down!" Juno whooped over comms. Fleet sinking. Capital secure. They retraced to the hall. Courtiers reformed ranks. Whispers buzzed. Eyes fixed on Mara's fresh scorch marks, the blood seeping her sleeve. Saiviri mounted the dais, pulled Mara up beside her. Court fell silent. "This human bleeds for us." Saiviri's claw traced Mara's cracked plate. Her scars? Routine resilience. Not barbarism. A courtier stepped forward. "Majesty, she..." Saiviri yanked Mara against her side. Golden tendrils coiled around Mara's waist. Intimate hold. Claws pressed her hip. "Mine. Challenge that." Silence crushed the hall. No one moved. Vorkesh grunted approval. Metrics. Human breach saved 47% casualties. Routine extraordinary. Juno sealed the expanded treaty. Alliance holds. War turns. Mara met Saiviri's gaze. Golden fire burned there. Token at her neck warmed. Queen's mark. Explosions rattled distant horizons. Scout waves massed anew. Saiviri leaned in. Voice for Mara alone. "Beyond war. Tonight." Mara nodded. "Yours." They stepped forward together. Raiders breached outer grids. Fire lanced. Mara dropped the lead scout. Saiviri downed 2. Vorkesh's squad synced. Resilience routine. Bond unbreakable. Horde incoming. Explosions shook the treaty hall anew. Mara fired through the smoke. Saiviri pressed close. Tendrils shielding. Courtiers watched. The Queen claimed her human, public, fierce. Raiders charged. Alliance ignited. Mara rolled behind a pillar. Raider claws scraped inches away. She burst out, plasma chewing through armor. "Flank left!" Sci-Fi lashed out. Her tendril pierced the attacker's core. Ichor sprayed. She hauled Mara upright. Together. Always. Mara wiped blood from her lip. Shoulder screamed, but she ignored it. Scanned the hall. Breaches everywhere. Courtiers barricaded doors. Vorkesh bellowed orders. His warriors formed kill zones, plasma lances humming. "Human metrics! Hold center!" Juno patched fleet overrides. "Strikes inbound." "Hold 5. Raiders poured from vents. Mara led the counter. "Grenades on my mark." She hurled one. Flash cracked. Warriors advanced. Sci-Fi's tendrils cleared paths, crushing limbs. One raider latched her flank. Mara severed it with a burst. Queen hissed pain. Mara pressed her back. Token heal incoming. Warmth spread. Wound knit. Sci-Fi gripped her hand. "Your routine saves. Court feeds." Captured it. Whispers turned to awe. Fresh blasts hit the outer walls. Horde breached the grid fully. Claws versus Alliance steel. Mara reloaded. Stood shoulder to shoulder with her queen. "Next wave yours and mine." Sci-Fi smiled. Fierce. Golden. Ours. They charged into the fray. Resilience met precision. Love fueled the fire. Explosions thundered closer. Mara took point. Sci-Fi guarded her 6. Bond sealed in blood and plasma. War demanded more. They delivered. Raiders swarmed the dais. Mara vaulted up, rifle blazing. Dropped 3. Sci-Fi leaped beside, tendrils a whirlwind. Vorkesh hammered from below. "Metrics peak," he roared. Juno yelled. "Fleet overhead." Orbital lances bloomed. Raider hulls vaporized. Hall cleared. Medics rushed in. Sci-Fi held Mara upright. Claws lingered on her scars. "My shield endures." Mara grinned through pain. Routine. Courtiers knelt. Alliance forged. Private ping. Sci-Fi. Dies private now. Claim you fully. Token burned hot. Mara squeezed her claw. Ready for more than war. Horizon lit. Next horde massed. Endless war. They stood, united. Human grit. Alien grace. Victory intimate.